Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Reluctant Artsy, and you're here because of Ironsworn. Maybe you're here because of Vaesen. Maybe you're here because of Ghastly Affair, or the Random Tables, or because of Mork Borg, which may show up but wasn't part of the initial image. Maybe you're here because of Decuma and the release, which is going to happen in December for the cards. I got the PDF because I'm a backer. This is going to be a very interesting experience for me and for you who are watching. I've never done this before. Well, I tried back in January and I didn't like what I was doing. I wasn't quite ready yet, and so I needed some months to let everything percolate. COVID happened, and it gave me some more time to reflect and think about things. And so here I am, ready to present to you something from my imagination, something from dice rolling, something from a whole bunch of different places. This is going to be built on the Ironsworn rule set. It's going to use Vaesen and a little bit of Ghastly Affairs, and particularly the companion, for establishing place setting. And my hope is that A, you're going to enjoy this, and B, I'm going to enjoy this. And so we're going to learn together. I've got an idea in my head. I've got a very, it's very formulated, but we'll see. So, there's just a couple of shout outs. And the first one is for Questwise. It's a channel. This guy is absolutely fantastic. I watched three or four videos of his last night and couldn't help but comment for a few of them. He and I are completely and totally on sync in terms of our approach, at least our recent approach to tabletop role-playing games, and very much a kindred spirit, again, in his attitude. And if you're watching, please do that 10 things that you dislike about 5th edition. I may actually agree with probably 9, if not 10, of your 10. I'm really excited about what Free League is doing, what Modifius is presenting, and this is kind of my first foray in. So instead of just sticking to Ironsworn and a particular genre, or Vaesen and a particular genre, I'm kind of blending it all in and using some amazing tools to help us flesh out the story as it unfolds. So, dread prospects indeed. It is set in a Gothic world, a world that in Sweden, as well as in many places in the world, France has been defeated, and England now is seen as being important and influential. And in this time period, we're talking about the Regency. So think about Jane Austen. If you're English major, as I once was, think about Coleridge and Keats and Shelley and Byron and a whole bunch of authors and artists who really kind of embraced a period of time just before mechanization and the advent of a lot of change in society. So this is going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting journey. So hold on and buckle up. You'll probably be wondering why I have a tea set next to a candle. Well, I thought how appropriate for the Regency period, but to have some Yorkshire Gold tea. So, I'm going to give you a tour before we get into the nuts and bolts. So, my screen is here, and this is where I've got most of my information, though I do have the Vaesen book, and I'll be referring to that as well. I have the Mork Borg book, maybe using that as well. We'll see what I use. I have the Ironsworn, the book, Lodestar, and Delve all on its way. And I do have the Delve cards, and I have the asset cards. And I have the Vaesen cards. So you'll see if... Oh, that's not the right bunch. They're right here. So I have the Vaesen cards here, and you'll see that there's lots of different Vaesen. One of my favorite images. So we'll, at some point, not today, get into these. So this is the tour. This is where my main screen is. This is where obviously my camera is. And I have my OBS on my other screen over here. You're going to notice that I have a circle light, and it's going to glare in my glasses. Sorry. And these glasses will be toast tomorrow because I'm getting new glasses from online. We'll see how that works out. I'm hoping that it works because it's certainly a lot cheaper. So let's do a little tour. So you've got me here, and occasionally I'll just go for this massive setup. Usually it's just kind of talking to you and the exit wrapping up, and I'll do that. There are going to be times when I'm just going to say you need to see these dice rolls, and you need to see them pretty clearly, and we'll be doing this. And you should see my mat. I have two sets of dice. I have plastic, and of course I have a Vaesen dice there, and you'll see very clearly that I have a strong hit. May use metal. I love the sound of metal. And there you go. And that's clear as well, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I don't know what I'm going to use. We'll figure it out. Ta. So then I have my two main scenes that I'm going to be showing you. One is going to be my sheet view, and you will see here that I have my character sheet from Roll20. I didn't really want to use Roll20, but it actually is the best thing out there for just the visuals. And so I've decided to make myself a little bit bigger so that we can feel like you're chatting with me and that I'm there with you. And hopefully this over here, there, won't be a problem. Sometimes when people have been doing their video presentations of Ironsworn, I've found that it's just a block of text, and I want it to be personal. And so Me, Myself, and Die is pretty much the gold standard now. There's so many other absolutely fantastic Ironsworn videos out there now. Hopefully more and more people putting this up is going to bring more and more attention to the game, which is brilliant as a solo game, but also you can have another person or a group. I've been saying this for well over a year, if not more, that Ironsworn is just one of the most innovative role-playing systems to come out in recent years, and it's a joy to be able to use it. And for it to be free is so generous and frankly clever on Sean's part to just make this easily accessible. Nobody has to go downloading on Ware's sites and stuff like that. You just have it and can play, and that's awesome. So bravo to Sean. So this is my character page. You will see that he has a name, And, of course, I don't have it here. There we go. So, his name is Major Niels Thomas Freant. And he was born in Sweden. He is an aristocrat. He's also a former soldier who fought on the Prussian side with Blücher when they fought at the Battle of Waterloo. We are now in the fall. He has returned to Sweden, and he's going to embark on all sorts of adventures. His first being to see his brother in the parish that he holds. He has sent him a letter asking him for urgent assistance, and that he cannot write about such things, but desires Niels to come and help him in something quite astonishing. So, the year is 1815, and we shall see how this unfolds. You'll see that wits and heart and edge are his strong suits. As a military officer, he would have a rifle and a bayonet, and those are going to be seen in his assets. And so his assets are 4 because I can, and so I've done it. The first one here is Skirmisher, and obviously he doesn't have a spear, but he has a bayonet, an iron bayonet. I think that's important for us. Another combat talent that he has is archer. Well, he's not an archer, he's a rifleman, and so he's quite adept at using his rifle. So there's that. Then I chose sighted in response to an idea that I had as to why he's leaving the army. He's an officer. He probably has some type of rights to be able to leave, but probably not. So I thought to myself, what better excuse for him to leave service than to have had a head injury? So he's had a head injury at the Battle of Waterloo. It's taken him a while to recover and to make his way back to Sweden, his place of birth. And so he's on his way back, and so I thought that sighted would work really, really interesting with this notion of having his head bonged, and maybe that this has come out because of this head injury. So when you face danger or gather information to identify or detect mystic forces, add a +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Solid asset. You know, I'm up in the air about how much magic I like in role-playing games. And I wasn't going to choose a ritual. But the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I thought it makes sense for this character. His brother is a priest. So there's a sense of the divine and the spiritual in his background. He cares for his brother. And I thought that this particular asset would be really interesting to play out. So it's called communion. When you surround the remains of a recently deceased intelligent creature with lit candles and summon its spirit, roll +heart and +1 if you share a bond. On a strong hit, the spirit appears and you may converse for a few minutes. Make moves as appropriate at +1. On a weak hit, as above, but the spirit also delivers troubling news unrelated to your purpose. Envision what it tells you. Ask the oracle if you're unsure, and endure stress. I thought this would be an interesting asset to roleplay. So this is going to be a bit of fun. Now, we're going to see how this goes, of course. And so I'm just on my main screen getting some pictures up. And so the last part of my tour is, so you have seen me, you've seen my dice, you've seen the character sheet, and this is what's on my desktop. So you'll see that I can move this around. And so this is the Ironsworn Lodestar PDF. And you will have noticed already that I did add those challenging but not perilous stat array for my character. And so Nils is there and the character is created. So in the setup for a campaign, you create your character, and we're going to embark on that in a second. Create the world. Well, the world is in Vaesen, and so I have that right next to me as well. Mark your background bonds. Create up to 3 bonds to represent your connection to home, friends, families, and other loyalties. So the first bond, I may or may not write these down in the character sheet now. I want to do this live. I don't want to edit it. I would love to be able to do what happens on Me, Myself, and Die. But I just don't have the studio equipment and the ability and the editing. My gosh, he must have an editor to be able to do that. And if he edits him himself, you are awesome. But I want to do this live. And, well, live, recorded live. And so I don't want to bog us down by me, typing away. So the bonds. So his first bond is to his brother. Let's find a name. So we'll take the Vaesen book out and we'll see what his name, what the possibility of the name can be. So, priest. All right. So, I think his name's going to be Victor. Let's make it easy. I'm not going to roll. Not yet. I probably have something that I can roll for, but I don't know. I wonder. Oh, here we go. Ironlander names. Oh. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for Victor. The Ironsworn names are very particular to the context of Ironsworn, and so I'd rather get them a little more historical. So his brother is Victor. And Victor is a priest. And we don't know much about Victor, but we will discover more about him. And this is his brother, and it's Reverend Victor, and his last name is Friand. There we go. So, and he is in an interesting community. So, I'll show you my vision of where we are. So, I'm just gonna raise this up a bit. Oops. Well, that's going to be our opening scene. This image is from James Pollard. He was an artist, a British artist, born in Islington, and he lived between 1792 and 1867. Just an interesting photograph that I thought was very aristocratic and just seems to look quite nice for us. So imagine good old Major Nils Friand inside the carriage on his way to these wonderful places which he's going to go to. So, oops, we're going to go to... just going to need to grab something here. And I don't know where it is. I have to move some things around. Oh, there it is. So, the map. So, obviously, he's come up from down here, which is, Germany, and Copenhagen is down on this side, it's over here. I don't know why it went blue. Oh, there we go. All right, so this is Uppsala, which is in the book as the major center, the urban center. And he's going to travel up, all the way up, until he gets over here to Sundsvall. And I will take a look to see what I have on that. Sundsvall. And he's going to be in that area, and we'll get a little more precise a little bit later on. So, he has another bond. This is a fun bond. He has a butler. His name is Klaus. But Klaus... the Klaus is Lofgren, and he's always called Lofgren. So Lofgren is his butler, and he has a bond with him. He has an affection with him, and he's his manservant, as aristocrats would have had in those days. And he travels with him as his assistant in a number of kind of adventures, and has been part of his entourage ever since he was young. This is an older gentleman, and so it will be interesting to see how Klaus Lofgren unfolds here in our story. I don't have another bond at the moment, so let's go back and see what Lodestar tells us. So we'll go back to character creation, and I'll just go to where were we? Here we go. So we've got our world, background bonds, friendly and family, yeah. Write your background vow. Create a sworn quest as the backstory for your character. Write down this vow and give it a rank of extreme or epic. You don't need to make the swear an iron vow move for this quest. A background vow. Alright, well, let's go back to our sheet. Let's go to the background vow. All right. I think we'll do this in a second, because I think I've got something which might actually help us bring some flesh to this. So we'll see where that goes. So we'll get back to this. And so we've got a background vow to make. So I'm going to mark that down so that I don't forget. And I got to drink some more of my tea. So, envision your inciting incident. Come up with a problem that drives your character into action. All right, so we are going to go back to the character sheet. And I'm going to mark this down a little bit lower, but meet brother, father, Victor, free aunt, in, and I just want to make sure that I've got this correct. All right, so in Sundsvall. Here we go. All right, so how I'm going to say that this is a dangerous trip for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's going up north. He is part and parcel of a you know, there's well, there is a coach and stuff. Maybe I should make it troublesome. In that initial setup video that me, myself, and Di did, I want to call him Travis. I want to call him Taylor. I will figure out his name at some point soon. Sorry. So we're going to. He said. Sean said to him, "People tend to make things more difficult than they should be." I think I'm going to mark it troublesome. I want to make it dangerous, but I think I should make it troublesome this visit. So that's going to be a vow. There you go. It's there. So let's go back to the sheet. Oh, we're going here to that. All right, so we've got background vow. We've got envision your inciting incident. The inciting incident that drives my character into action is his brother has requested a visit and has been extremely cryptic. Set the scene. So, he's traveling. Somewhere in here. There we go. It's traveling away. This is a Wikipedia image, by the way. So, he's traveling by carriage, and he's in the carriage, and right beside him is Lofgren. Lofgren is kind of dozing off. They've been traveling for a bit of time. They've left Uppsala. The trip is going to take a bit of time. It's going to take a few days for them to arrive. And in the coach alongside them is a man who looks to be kind of distinguished, but nothing special. An older man, older in his 60s, and he seems to be relatively disinterested in everything that's going on. He looks as if he's trying to sleep as well as Lofgren. And then there is a woman. And so we should see about this woman. And so I think what I'm going to do is, again, I don't know. I wanted to do some more looking up on names and stuff like that and see if I could get a name generator. And I keep on forgetting if something is here. So, hold on. I'm just going to take it easy. I'm not going to roll quite yet, but I'm getting there. Ulrika. Ulrika. And we're going to call her Ulrika Backlund. Let's just keep it simple. Ulrika Backlund. She's, let's see how young she is. Let's do a little bit of a dice roll here. So, let's say, if it's over 75%, then, so 75 and up, she's older, like over 50. But if it's lower, we'll just, I'll gauge what age she should be. She's not going to be a child. So minimum age, 18. 28. Let's say she's 28. He doesn't know that. But she looks in her mid to late 20s. So, I'm going to grab some tea. I know, I forgot the milk. It's horrific. This is why I did the warnings, right? Because you may be offended. I would be. There we go. All right, so we're back. So Ulrika is there, and she looks up over at Nils and says to him, "You look very curious. You're a soldier." He nods his head and says, "Yes, I'm on my way to see my brother. He's in the north. It will take a while for me to see him, but he's a parish priest. You might know him, Victor Friant? Father Victor Friant?" She shakes her head and doesn't know who this is, and she doesn't really seem too interested either. She looks at him intently and says, "What is your name?" He kind of nods and says that he's Nils Friant, Major Nils Friant. And Lofgren kind of looks up and looks over, kind of aware that he's speaking to this younger woman. He would be, and I would say, his mid-30s. And so the butler's kind of got a little bit of a smirk on his face and starts looking out the window again as the carriage bumps along on its way north. Ulrika says after about 10 minutes, and pleasantries, of course, "Would you like to have a reading?" He looks kind of aghast. "A reading? What do you mean?" And she pulls out a deck of tarot cards. She begins to look into his eyes and starts to shuffle them almost unconsciously, and says, "I've been a reader for many years. I've received it, a gift, from my grandmother, and she was a reader as well. You're quite a mystic. Do you believe in mysticism?" Nils feels a chill go down his spine. He's been curious, but never really been into that type of thing. He's a Christian. He goes to church. He's a high-ranking member of society. In his head, as he's thinking about these things, why would he venture into something like this, the occult? Isn't it dangerous? Isn't it fraught with problems, spiritual problems? She looks at him and sees his mind racing in his discomfort. She says, "Don't worry. Nothing wrong can happen, can it?" And he looks and says, "Don't you have to spread things around? There's no room here. I've heard tell that you need tables and such." She dismisses that notion, and as the carriage bumps along and looks outside at everything going on, she returns her gaze and says, "It will be fine. I have a feeling that you should have this." She passes him the cards and says, "Major, shuffle." And he begins to shuffle. If you're interested, this is the Golden Tarot by Cat Black. There you go. Golden Tarot by Cat Black. And I got this last year before, because of Matt Colville. And he did a video on using tarot in games, and so I thought, why not try it out? So, if you're wondering, in real life, I'm a priest. It's true. And so I'm not really freaked out about this. I have put up a warning. I don't mean to offend anybody, so please don't see this as an offense. I believe that this is a wonderful random tool to help us storytell and to kind of make us think about ourselves. I think this can be, to some extent, an ability for us to look into our own lives and maybe jog our memories of things that we are looking at kind of psychologically in our own lives, and looking at maybe meaning of some sort. So I hope that you're not offended that I'm using tarot cards in this regard. I don't mean it. I don't subscribe to using it in a divination type of way, in the same way that some do, though I respect your decision to choose that path. But just so that you know, full disclosure, I am a Christian. I'm a priest, but I'm also very relaxed and pretty liberal, and also conservative. A little bit of mashup of everything, and so, but not really that conservative. So, or I wouldn't be using these. So anyway, back to Nils. So the Major shuffles. He looks at her. And looks at the cards. He's thinking to himself what all this could mean. He's thinking about his brother. He's thinking about the cryptic message. He's thinking about the war. And about the battle. And at that, he hands her back the cards. As she puts her hand up. "No," Ulrika says. "No, I want you to turn over the first card, and I want you to show me the card, and let's see how it goes." And he kind of grabs the card, and he's about to kind of show her, and she shows him the right way to do it, and kind of says, "Put it on your lap, just show me." And she says, "Just let me see." So he puts it down. So we're going to try this out. So I'm still here, and the first card is the King of Wands. The King of Wands. And so I'm going to go over here. You probably have already seen it because I accidentally brought it up. But it is Wands. So we're going to see this. And just so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to bring this over to this screen here. So we're on the Wands, and it is the King. Now I'm going to have to figure this out. So this is his present state. So what is Niles's present state? Well, a charming man, witty and enigmatic, virile, strong, and fiery in nature, with a tendency to be a little hasty. Brilliant. I love it. So we're gonna mark this down, and we're gonna say that he's so he's charming and witty, which makes me feel really good because he's got that strong wit in his stat array. So there we go. And but he's a little bit. He's virile. I wonder if we're going to get into romantic situations. Strong and fiery. Oh, this is great. All right, so I'm going to have to mark down what he is. So it's the King of Wands. All right, so and she says to him, "You're quite a charmer, aren't you?" He blushes and looks to her and makes a witty comment. And then says, yes. What do I... he says, I have another card? She just nods. So the next card. The Knight of Wands. So we're going to go back to Wands and to the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands. I'm going to see if I can make this bigger for you so that you can see a bit better. It's probably going to affect everything, though. All right, so there we go. All right, so that's a little bit better for everybody. All right, so this is the factors of influence. What has influenced this present kind of state of his wittiness, his good humor, his fiery tendencies, and maybe he's a little bit quick with the way that he answers and stuff. What's brought him to this? Well, putting ideas into action, eagerness, journey, or a move to a new home. Gets better and better, doesn't it? All right, so this is the Knight of Wands. All right, so he's on a journey. And she says, "Major, it seems pretty accurate to me. You're visiting your brother. This is exactly why you are who you are. You care for your brother, obviously." Niels looks and acknowledges that yes, he does, and that he's very concerned as well. And he goes on to explain how worried he is by the cryptic nature. This is not like Victor to be so imprecise in his writing. He's always been very accurate and precise. So this is different for him, and so he's very eager to go and see what's going on. Well, then we turn over a third card, and she nods and kind of encourages him. What's the goal or the destiny? And so he turns it over, and we see that it's the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords. So there's swords. And we'll get to the Queen. And this is upright. A logical, calculating woman, determined and ruthless in pursuit of her goal. She knows what she wants, and she will do whatever is necessary to get it. Goal-oriented, perceptive, intelligent, extremely quick-witted, perhaps a woman with private griefs, a widow, one who has suffered losses. This card represents the zodiac sign of Virgo. So, this is the goal. Nils looks at her. I don't understand. What could this mean? I don't know a woman like this. She looks at him. Major, maybe this is a woman that you have not met. Maybe this is your destiny. Intelligent, quick-witted, perceptive. Sounds a lot like yourself, does it not? Do you have a sister? He shakes his head. It is just me and my brother. So few in your family, she says. Yes, many of my mother's children died very, very young. The famine has taken its toll on everyone, the rich and the poor. She nods. And you can see that she's kind of thin and probably has been a victim of the famine in the north, and she completely understands. But she says, nevertheless, keep this in mind. You may come across this woman one day. So, I'm going to say that this is a logical woman in future. All right. So, what comes next? The Major says. Well, she looks at him and says, well, this next one is what's influenced you in the past when you were younger? He looks out the window. This would be a good time to see what the weather is like. Now, I swear I saw a weather chart in Vaesen. And of course, I probably won't find it, and I'll just be frustrated. So, we will see if there is actually a weather chart. You know, I've seen so many different okay, oh, I wanted to do that as well. I've seen so many different charts that, you know, I guess what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take a whole bunch of pictures of charts and just have things readily available so that I can, well, it's not going to be in talents, is it? So let's get to the society and the headquarters, and let's go to... Alright, well, there's the north. Okay, so that's travel. Such a beautiful book. No, I don't know where I found it. There was a weather chart somewhere. I wonder if it's... You know what? Let's go crazy and actually look at our character sheet and see if we can find something. All right, so settings. Let's delve. I wonder what environmental calamity. Oh, it gets marked down on. Well, there's always going to be some foibles. Let's just say it's raining outside, and I'll get my charts up and running in a bit. All right. Well, there we go. And that's of course sites for All right. So there we go. Yes. All right, well, I'm just going to have to deal with that. Sorry for the dead air. We will return to this page. Oops. This page. And if I can just get this right. There we go. All right. So we're back to Ulrika. So the influences. He turns over the card. It is the 10 of Wands. Take care not to take on more than you can handle. Spreading yourself too thin could lead to an emotional and spiritual low. I think that his past is... He's trying to prove something, right? So he takes on a lot. All right? And I think that this makes sense. He's been in the war. He's been injured. He's all of a sudden so consumed about his brother and what's gone on that he has to go and see him. It's not enough for him to write back and kind of get an answer. He has to go and see him. And again, he's taking on a lot. And maybe in the past, this was part of his role as a major, is taking on more and more roles. Maybe he got injured because of something that happened, because he was balancing too many things at once. As part of his duty as an officer. We'll discover this as we go along. He looks and nods, realizing that in the distant past, and remember, this is distant, so I've got to think about that as well. Maybe he was always trying to prove himself to his parents. Maybe he's always trying to prove himself. Yeah. So, recent past. He turns over another card. The 9 of Wands. Now, I did shuffle it. You saw me shuffle. So, the 9 of Wands. What is the 9 of Wands? A little desolate. Be prepared for likely difficulties and all will be well. Challenges will be met and surmounted. A time of change approaches. Good work will be rewarded by promotion or business success. I'm going to say it's not as much promotion as he gets this... this opportunity because of the injury to be able to leave. And an honorable discharge, as it were. Challenges will be met and surmounted. Makes sense. He's a survivor of the war. And so this makes perfect sense. What's the future influence? So she says, Major, this next card is what might influence you in the future. Death, a change. What type of change could this be? So it's in the Major Arcana. And death is there. 13. Massive upheaval. Time for complete dramatic change. Life is short, so seek real satisfaction and fulfillment while there is still time. It is time to take control of your own destiny and live your life in a meaningful way. If you found out you were going to die tomorrow, would you have regrets about how you have lived your life? This is the time to resolve them, to balance the karmic book and free yourself from lurking guilts and feeling what could have been. So this is an upheaval. This is a change. This is an opportunity to reflect, but it's going to be upheaval. Sounds like a good adventure, doesn't it? Not planned. You saw me shuffle. So, and I'm not a magician. So, the death card. X at 1, 1, 1. All right. So, future influence. Change. Dramatic. What's life about? He's going to find out. Ta. And she says, these next 4. He looks back. She grins. She says, these next 4. These are important. What's your attitude? What's the environment like? What's your inner emotions like? And what's the most likely outcome? He looks at her smiling, and he smiles back, and he nods and says, this is all quite fascinating, you know. And she says, it is, isn't it? Does it make sense so far? He looks at the window. He sees the rain. It's gotten a little darker. Yes, it does make sense. I'm concerned, though. Am I going to die? Her smile goes away. She looks at him again and says, we're not sure. We cannot be sure. There will be upheaval in your life. This trip to your brother. Maybe he's in danger. You're right to be concerned. He nods. Lofgren, looking as if he's asleep, says, it's all superstition, you know. Niels looks over and says, quiet you. It's just a bit of fun. Isn't it? He looks over at Ulrika. She looks at him as if to say, it's not a lot of fun. This is spookily accurate. She doesn't say it, but she gives that look. And he is smart enough to know. And so then we look at the attitude. Ooh, it's the Hangman and upside down, our first reversed card. So this is going to be interesting. And again, I don't do this, so I don't know what it means. So you might know. It's a good thing this isn't live. All right, so let's see. The Hangman, upside down Hangman. Oh no, am I going to lose my video? My video has been on for a long time for my cards. So the Hangman. A tendency toward masochism and playing the martyr needlessly. Okay, so upright is sacrifices may be necessary. Not all battles will be won. Some are not worth fighting and better off forgone. Self-control may be necessary. Oh, my battery died on my cards. This is terrible. Oh. Well, now I know how long my phone lasts. Oh. All right. So I'm going to pause. Let's see if I can pause. So we're going to pause, and then we're going to return. It's been an hour, so we're going to wrap up this section. So just let me see if I can pause, and we'll be back. I think we're back. All right. Sorry about that. You probably don't realize how much time has gone by, but it took me a while to find the power cord, then get an extension cord, and all my USB plugs are all filled up, so whatever. All right. So we're back to the Hangman. Yes, indeed. The attitude. Masochistic. Playing the martyr needlessly. Yeah. Playing the martyr needlessly. Martyr complex. We'll see how that plays out. It was very interesting. She's a little shocked because he seems to understand what it means. He urgently kind of pushes her to have him reveal the next card. He's not comfortable with this. And so she kind of looks at him and says, yes, but please, by all means. And he says, what's this one about? And before he turns it over, she says, well, it's kind of what goes on in the environment and what influences you in your environment. The Six of Cups. Six of Cups. That's right there. Innocence and faithful acceptance, unquestioning and unconditional love, a yearning for simpler times and less responsibility, but beware of nostalgia. You cannot return to the past. Remembrance of childhood joys. Being home for Niles is a strange experience. He hasn't been in Sweden for many, many years. Well, let's say a decade. And this is a problem. He's realizing that maybe he is being too nostalgic about meeting his brother and about returning to his manor house. We'll see how this goes. So the environmental influence is the Six of Cups. And it is a yearning of simpler times. That's absolutely going to come into effect. Again, he stares out the window. She nudges him. Go on. He wanted to avoid the discussion any further, but she's prodding him now. She's interested in this man's life. And she is just as anxious. Well, she's anxious to find out more. And actually, Lofgren is peeking out the side, and he's looking to see what comes next. He's been paying attention. Inner emotions. What's going on inside of the Major? Five of Cups. Gifts foolishly discarded To have tasted from many cups and forgotten the sweet wine, recalling only a bitter aftertaste, jaded cynicism and disillusionment, regret, anger, and bitterness, the ending of a relationship, loss, sorrow, and grief, depression. This card warns of a tendency to focus on negative memories. Gifts foolishly discarded. A tendency to focus on negative memories. I think that the way I envision this is that the Major is overwhelmed with the horrors of war. He's an aristocrat. He's had many wonderful dinners. He's been abroad, in Brussels. He's been in a company that's very affluent. And he regrets the fact that he's in a position of privilege and others are not. He looks at Ulrika, and he can see that she has not been given so many opportunities. She is hungry. He hasn't even bothered to ask her why she's on this journey. He's only interested in what she can do for him. Something of his relationship that he has in a way with Klaus, with Lofgren. Yeah. He's certainly focusing on the war, I think. What's the most likely outcome? She says, this might be a possibility. He says, is this my future? We don't know. It is for you to determine. Well, is this fortune telling or is it not? She pauses and thinks and returns and looks at him right in the eye. And she says, no. You determine your own future. But this isn't a reasonable outcome. He doesn't understand. And so he just looks at her and turns over the card. And he kind of flips it in her face and he plonks it down. The 8 of Cups. Abandonment of materialism. Putting aside financial security in the pursuit of spiritual fulfillment. Cutting off from the old and seeking a new life of order and simplicity. A journey is likely, either of body or mind. By exploring the world around you, you will discover more about yourself. I think the cards have been pretty good. All right. So, I need to mark down the other one. So it was the 5 of Cups and the 8 of Cups. So 5 of Cups and 8 of Cups. And so this is, we're going to say, cutting off of the old and seeking the new. Out with old, in with new. And I would say that the journey is likely. Obviously, he's on a journey. He's on a bodily journey, but he's going to be on a mental journey. She says, not too painful, was it? It sounds like you have a lot to think about, a lot to explore. This is not the worst outcome. Are you pleased? The Major puts his hands together like this and looks over at Lofgren. And what do you think? Sir, you are always on a journey. You have been very busy for months and years, as long as I've known you, to be honest. He says, Major, you are in charge of your own destiny. And Ulrika laughs. She says, who knows what our destinies are? Who knows? How can you know? Do you want a reading? No, he says immediately. And he kind of crosses himself. He does a little cross. And he says, no, by no means am I going to know my future. I don't want to know. And he turns to the Major. It is fun and games. That is all. Niles looks out the window, longingly, thinking to himself, what will come next? What does my future hold? After a couple of minutes, much too long for him not to have spoken to Ulrika, he turns to her and says, I'm sorry, I was lost in my thoughts. I'm very grateful for your time and for this. And he gives her back her cards and kind of goes, here, yes, take them. Thank you, he says. And the carriage pulls up to the way station, and all of a sudden there's a kerfuffle outside, and everything is going on, and of course the horses need to be changed, and they go out and go into the guest house and have a cup of tea. I think that's where we find ourselves. We've got a good idea of the character. We have an understanding of some of the things that will arise and come up. Ironsworn, of course, is the backdrop, and we will jump right into it the next time we play. At the moment, I want us to be able to think a little bit more. I want to make sure that I'm comfortable with everything that's going on in front of me. Hopefully, this one will stick. I am excited to venture into Niles' life and to have him move forward, and we'll see what happens after this stops. So we're going to look at the map, and I think that I can bring the map up here. So let us say that they have got as far as around here. All right, so I think that they are... Can I mark it? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. All right, so... Oh, that's what I need, sorry. You know, if it was on my pad, I know exactly what I'm doing. Oh, well, whatever. Stupid. All right, so we're here at this crossroads. So, I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's been a little bit longer than I thought it would be. I just wanted to do an introductory session, just to get everybody on board. See if there's a bit of excitement or interest in this. I do have some things that I want to do kind of mechanically. And so I think, well, there, you can look at my tea. I'm running out of space, to be really honest. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to bring us back to the character sheet so that you can see that. And there were some pages that I marked down that I wanted to kind of flesh out a little bit more. So he is an officer, and I'll flip a little bit further. He is obviously a gentleman, and he is battle hardened. But as we've seen by the tarot reading, it's come at a cost. So the upbringing as a aristocrat. So we're going to roll on this. So here we go. This is page 218 in the Vaesen book. And we're going to see what happens. Here's a roll. Oh. If you can't see it, it doesn't count. 1. Sickly. As a child, you were often ill. Despite good medical care and the best of circumstances, much of your youth was spent in your room, weak and bedridden. Can you imagine his mother with all those infant deaths, having the brother and Victor and Nils? Let's see. Is he older or younger than Victor? So we are going to say 4, 5, and 6, he's older. And that's a 4. He's the older brother. So he has this sense of responsibility for Victor. And he was sickly as a child. All right. So I'm going to turn the page to life event table, and this is 224. And let's see. This is for a military officer. Let's say a life event table. So we've already got a little bit about his background. We'll review this again when we meet next time. That is a 3, and I'll just push that over. So a 3. Rival. You got into a lengthy conflict with a professional rival. You can barely remember how it started, but the conflict kept growing until it took over your life. Perhaps you got over it and became friends. Perhaps you made an enemy for life. Okay, so 4, 5, or 6 enemy. Oops. There we go. 5. What's an enemy? A rival. So he's got a rival. All right. We're gonna consult. We're gonna consult now. All right, so let's get into our consultation mode. All right, so that was brilliant. I'm really, really happy about the way that the tarot worked. And there is the map. And there is our coach. And so let's just get back to the coach. scene and them driving along. Remember, they'd have people up top and people all over the place. The butler has prestige. And the reason why he has prestige is the major insisted that he sit with him in the carriage and not up top. So there's a good relationship between them, and it will be explored. All right, so that is that. And I think it's this one. Here we go. All right, so we are going to go. We're going to look at some moves here. Action and theme oracles. All right. So let's get into the nitty-gritty now. All right. You know what? I am going to roll these. I love the Vaesen dice, but I want to roll my metal dice for this first action and theme oracle. So we're driving along. And forget what I was doing this for. Okay, so we have a life event table. We figure, oh, it's the rival. What's the reason behind why he's an enemy? All right, so 40. So avoid. And I know that it's simpler using the roll 20. I really want to do it by hand. I really like what the T guy is doing. Mr. T, let's just call him Mr. T, at Me, Myself, and Die. So, 33. Peace. Avoid peace. There was a chance of reconciliation. There was an opportunity for him to make things right. I think that this is a military person. I think that it's maybe another major. So it's another major. It's another major. So we're going to look at the challenge rank here, and I think that this is a formidable foe. Okay, so this is a formidable foe. Absolutely. Okay, so we're not at a major. I want to see the... Where is the... Okay, so we know that he's... We know that he's hostile. And let's give this guy a character descriptor. Let's give him 2. What's this guy's personality like? Well, let's roll so that you can see. 49. His enemy is charming. A real rival. 92. And agreeable. I like him already. Let's do one more. 71. He's stealthy. Formidable foe who's charming, agreeable, and stealthy. I want a name for this guy. I've got my iPad on this side as well. Just so I'm going to look up. I think I've got my PDF up. And just want to go here. Because that's the book of random tables. And I'm just going to open up something. Sorry, it's I just want to make sure that I get the right thing. Actually, I'm going to go here. All right, sorry about the delay. I have this book from Andrew Valkaukas, and it's Fate of the Norms, Ragnarok. And I believe that there's a name table in here. I had a lot of stuff up. And of course, I closed everything out. And I think this is one of, and I'll speak about this while I'm searching this along, but one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to actually get up and play is we really don't understand fully how much effort is involved in making a good, compelling story. And everybody who's doing videos and everybody who's doing online stuff, really credit them for the amount of work and time that they put into their presentation, especially first looks and actual plays. Things like this take an awful lot of time, and I have enormous respect for the community of content creators. We should be extremely grateful for their work and what they've done. Now, this is going nowhere because I wonder if there's a table of contents or an index. The artwork in this is absolutely spectacular if you haven't seen it. And of course, well, damn it. All right, well, let's just go to the name oracles and we will do a name from here. 21. Win. Well, it's a guy. 81. Pendry. Well, I'll go with that. Pendry. That's his last name. Sven Pendry. I like that. Sven Pendry, Major Sven Pendry. He is a formidable foe, charming, agreeable, wonderful in high society, but he's also stealthy. Where that stealth comes from, we'll discover in the future. And I may do a vow with this. Probably should do a vow with this, but we'll see the next time we get together. Yeah. All right, so character goal. Oh, that's so much fun. Let's do the character roll for Pendry. All right, so it is an 80. He's fulfilling a duty. I'm going to have to figure out, what did Nils do to Sven? And what did Sven do to Nils? There's a rivalry. rivalry to fulfill a duty. What was that duty? Well, think about that. Oh, don't tell me it was this. No, that's settlement names. I just thought to myself, we're gonna have weather here, and I'm gonna be so upset that I bet it's in the main book, and that's probably where I saw it, and now I'm just frustrated. Anyway, it's raining outside, so there we go. I'm gonna go back to the cover. There's Lodestar's cover, and they're on a pit stop. We're now at an hour and a half, so I think that's a good time to stop. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed it. There's been problems of starting up and everything, so I'm just gonna kind of, I think, bring me over to myself as we say goodbye. I've got a lot of kind of thinking to do about the way to make this easier, and also to start role-playing with the Ironsworn rules and starting to get some, some roles going on. I'm really pleased. I'm glad that I did this. It's taken a lot of my day. It's almost 4 o'clock, and I've been kind of puttering away at this since about 9 this morning. So this has been great. It's good to, I'm in Canada, so this is Thanksgiving Day, so it's nice to have been able to spend this time. I work tomorrow, and then I'm on vacation for a little over a week, so I should have something else up in the near future, and then hopefully I'll do it maybe once a week, something like that, and hopefully I will have everything that I need to have in place. So this has been fun. It's been I've entertained myself. It's always nice to involve different things, and I hope to encourage you to, use the stuff that you have around the house, and be excited about the things that you've invested in. Don't just say, I'm going to stick to just Vaesen and that's it. It's an amazing campaign or rule set for a campaign, so don't get me wrong. But isn't it awesome to be able to mash up the things that we love? I'm not here teaching you how to play. I'm here, I hope, to offer encouragement to you so that you can be creative yourself, and maybe you will say, hey, this guy can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. That's pretty much how I looked at Matt Colville and Mr. T. I've got to look his name up. Some people know him because he's a voice actor. I just know him from this stuff. He's great, and I enjoy watching him, just like I enjoy watching the Free League guys and Garblag games. And, there's so many other adventures out there. I've been really meaning to do some stuff with Nibiru, but just that's one of those games where I really, you can't play it solo. And the best Nibiru treatment out there is gone, absolutely, done by Table Story. I haven't watched for at least 8 or 9 episodes now, and that's very, very sad, but I do encourage you to watch it from the very beginning. Extremely compelling, and it's just a matter of time and priorities. So, thank you for watching this. It's been an hour and a half, and time is valuable for people, and I appreciate it. So enjoy your day. Have a great time looking into various role-playing games, and I hope I've encouraged you to look at things like Decuma. I haven't got it up yet, but I will. Well, I've got it, but I haven't got it up for us to play. And the Ghastly Affairs. Again, I just need to do a little bit more preparation beforehand to be able to use those extra resources. And remember, Mr. T of Me, Myself, and Die, it's highly edited. He's great. But doing it like this, just straight and live, wow. But I did it, and I'm very proud of myself. So there you go. Anyway, have an absolutely wonderful day or evening or whatever time it is when you're watching this. I would be remiss if I didn't do the obligatory like and subscribe. Let's see where this takes us the next time I upload something. Take care.